So when you think about the strategies that you use in order to really, as you said, is that three-legged stool. It's the college career ready as well as service. As you think about all of those students, so not one stone is left unturned. Mm-hmm. What kind of strategies do you implement in your respective schools to make sure that we keep students on track to graduate? Because I know that doesn't just happen haphazardly. There have to have been certain things that you do with your team.
Well, thankfully, as a second-year high school principal, I've been fortunate to be working with our high school division, and Mr. McAuliffe is one of 10 of us there that we work closely together. And a lot of the strategies I've learned from my peers and my colleagues as they've helped me. It takes a group, and collectively we support each other as well. So a lot of the strategies I use are very similar to a lot of the standard high school strategies. And you hear the word cohort a lot, So you got your kids in your cohort. And coming up from 8th grade, you start looking at the data behind them and then getting to understand them from a quantitative standpoint. Mm-hmm. And then once they step foot on your campus, you get to know them as a person. Mm-hmm. And then you get into those qualitative characteristics and putting this puzzle together to understand the whole child. Mm-hmm. But with that, you've got your cohorts. And then within that, you monitor their progress as it relates to their credits, how they're doing with credits, how they're doing with their state or district testing. That's right. And you just have the pedal to the metal at all times and just monitoring them daily with systems as relates to biweekly meetings with different departments or your graduation assistant and things of that nature, and just really talking about the children regularly or students regularly and having them on the forefront of your discussions at all times. And then when you do that, you're able to watch them very closely.
Mr. McAuliffe, if you want to add anything, I know that we pride ourselves on how we monitor those wraparound services, right? Because we are, again, like Dr. Valle was saying, no stone left unturned. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is being very deliberate about the work. I have also seen how you communicate with our parents, how you engage them in that work so that they are kept abreast. Yep. Right, and what the next steps. You want to share a little bit in terms of, again, your monitoring structures.
Yes, so I think everything has to be systematic, to be honest, at the high school level. And it's, going back to what Tucker said, is we have a great team. We rely on one another to, if we don't know, we'll reach out to somebody to see what somebody's doing. But what benefits my school, I think, and our students is being Title I and being able to provide those extra resources and having those, I'm a firm believer of product or personnel over product. So having those extra bodies and extra eyes on campus to actually track and monitor those students who are EWS kids or are bottom 10% kids and have those as mentors, life coaches, just not for seniors, but also their 4 years. We have weekly, sometimes monthly meetings, depending on the time of year it is with our seniors and knowing where they're at. If it's college and career, GPA, with credits, who still needs testing, who still needs with the algebra testing or the ELA testing. So it just all depends, to be honest, but it's just having those individuals that are all coming together and knowing every student, because that's what it comes down to. You cannot leave a student unturned, and you can't let a student fall between the cracks. And that's something that we pride ourselves on, because we start the kid we don't wait till they're seniors. We know these kids coming in as freshmen, and we continue to track them their sophomore year, their junior year, and also their senior year. So
I like what you said, and I pride myself on referring to us as instructional leaders. So let me delineate for you what an instructional leader is. It's exactly what you're talking about. Because a manager, you would, if you had the mindset and you say, well, we have such a large high school, how do you keep track of every single student? How do you know the story of every single student? How do you connect resources, the right resources? How do you monitor? How do you communicate? How do you develop that system? Yeah. And it's basically that school within the school model. But when you're an instructional leader, you know what type of services are needed in your general ed classrooms, but also you know what type of services are needed in your specialized classrooms, right? Yes. So it's a combination of both. It's being very intentional, being very deliberate, being very surgical with your approach, as you were talking
about. And we do that with our playbook and stuff like that throughout graduation. And then we when we do meet with our students as well, they meet with the counselors and they actually develop their roadmap, like which path they want to take, as Tucker was saying, like the 3 steps of, is it college, is it career, is it service, and then we can guide them through that direction. But at the end of the day, we've got to get them to the finish line, which is the graduation stage.
Right.